Welcome back. Yesterday I said that I would be sharing a video today answering our commenter Brian's question about what to eat the first several days before competition. And I just realized I forgot to post a follow-up to another video I posted, so I'm going to post that today. And then tomorrow, Brian, I will get to your question and share with everyone what I suggest to eat before ballroom dance competitions. Okay, so I've previously shared with you some dangerous things I have seen over my years in the ballroom dance community inside ballroom dance studios. Certainly the minority of studios, but I do want to make sure that you should proceed with caution because there are a wide variety of people in dance studios like there is everywhere else in the world, okay, guys? I'm going to be very careful with the words I choose today and maybe use some acronyms or euphemisms because my understanding is YouTube will totally delete your channel if they catch you saying some words that may be offensive. And I certainly, and I wouldn't want to offend or trigger anyone either, okay, guys? So in that previous video, I will share a link to that in my description if you haven't seen that. I shared that I even encountered a kind of a scary situation in my own dance studio. So not only have I seen this in other dance studios, have I heard of it happening to friends, but I saw it myself. And that is crazy to me. Now, as you may know, I used to own the largest ballroom dance studio in the country. So we are talking about a very high volume of people. So certainly that is a factor. But most ballroom dance pros are genuinely professional, ethical, good people. And it's the same stats as in any other industry or culture probably around the world. We do have predators here, okay? So in a nutshell, one day I get a phone call from the local police department saying they had 2 detectives that wanted to meet with me. I'm like, what? Okay, like I've never broken the law in my life. Okay. So I set up a time and sure enough, straight up, and at that time I owned a studio, so I had a nice private office setting, you know, with a desk and big chairs they could sit in, but I swear to you, it's just like a TV show. 2 straight up, they were plain clothes, but detectives, police detectives showed up in my office and interviewed me, I kid you not, for a good 2 hours. Regarding a individual that was a dance teacher in my own studio. Okay, guys. And in a nutshell, he had been accused by harassment and child predation by several people. None of them in my dance studio, for the record. And none of them even in any town in my dance studio. He was teaching in a number of places, including somewhere else in my state. And so they asked me many questions about this person and one of the alleged victims, and if I knew anything about this, had she been there? And I confirmed, yeah, I totally knew who this person was. In fact, he had always referred to her as his girlfriend, and one would just assume if you know someone in their 30s that their girlfriend is of age. And this day and age, it is hard to tell. You know, my 12-year-old could probably pass for 18, so you never know, okay, guys? The scariest thing was, guys, the timeline of all the questions I answered for them. You know, I had copies of his ID and all this stuff, and his teaching records and when he was, where she said he was. All of these things lined up with what she was saying. Okay, guys, it's very spooky, more than spooky. Again, fortunately, none of these events happened in my studio, but my studio was crawling with cameras. Most dance studios honestly do have cameras and hidden cameras, but mine had them in every nook and cranny, okay? So fortunately that stuff did not happen there, but I even had pictures of these two together, guys. And I'm not going to lie to the police to cover, someone else. I just shared the information that I had. They also shared there were two identical accusations from other people who were underage at the time of the alleged interactions. These accusers were now all adults, so at least over the age of 18. Okay. And in a nutshell, they shared they were not going to prosecute any of these cases because these women who were children at the time are adults now. And apparently, at least the law in my state, I don't know what state you are in, or even if you're in a different country, I'm sure these things are handled differently all over the world and even inside of the United States. But the way they handle it in my state is they have some sort of a grace period. So if you are within, say, 4 years of the victim's age, say you're 18 and she's 15 or something, they don't prosecute this. They consider that there's a possibility of a legitimate, relationship of equal power sharing. But if you're beyond that age limit, and he was well beyond that age limit in these cases, they do prosecute. But the second thing they don't prosecute for is if you come forward as an adult, or someone else comes forward on your behalf as an adult, and you as the adult previous victim are not willing to testify against them, okay? And so while apparently all of these women freely spoke to the police about it, or maybe even complained, warned, I don't know. I was not part of that conversation. But none of them were willing to testify, which is a little bit crazy to me. I would think they would want to protect future potential victims, but it's really sad. In many cases, predators will lifelong manipulate that child into thinking they are responsible. I'm in love with that teacher. I, was part of this, and you know what? Maybe they were, but as I shared in my previous video, I don't care if you have an underage person jamming into your dance lesson stark naked. You are an adult. They are a child. This is crazy sauce to me. So it's just really sad. It's also really sad. Apparently none of these women had told their parents about it and didn't want their parents to know, even though they're adults. And I'm a parent. I would not blame my kid one iota, if someone had victimized them as a kid. But, it just goes to show how powerfully manipulative some very charismatic people can be, okay? Another kind of scary thing to me I should warn you about is he's worked in several other studios since leaving my studio. And yes, the police said don't fire him over this. There's been no crime committed until he's found guilty in court. There could be some sort of, danger to you or a lawsuit if you were to fire him because of these accusations. But I can tell you, as the studio owner, you can make it a little bit unpleasant for someone to work in your studio without, actually firing them or truly, or giving them different policies than anyone else. So yeah, he did move on very soon after I was interviewed by the detectives, who said, hey, you just need to go forward, keep a close eye on him. And I said, well, what are you going to do if you're not going to prosecute him? And they said, well, we are going to, and I can't remember the exact words I'm using. Forgive me if you're a policeman and I'm misusing the words, but they said, we're going to corner him, not in the workplace setting, but somewhere, I don't know, his house, somewhere out in a public setting, and let him know, you know what, we're aware that this happened, and we have our eyes on you, which to me would be terrifying. I think that would be a deterrent enough. But they weren't just going to do dead nothing. Okay, guys. Anyway, he did go on, though, to work in other studios as soon as he left mine. And you know what's crazy, guys? Not one of them called me and asked for a reference. Now, legally, I can't say, oh, well, did you know that these women accused him of blah, 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 blah? But you know what I can legally say, and I think this is probably the case for most states in the country, I can say and would say this person is ineligible for rehire without giving any reasons. And, you know, I always call for references, or if I don't call for a reference, when I hire a teacher, they've probably worked for one of my friends, and I'll call and be like, hey, is this person okay to work with? You know, would you feel comfortable with them working with children? This is a no-brainer to me. So if you own a dance studio, for Pete's sake, call and ask for references, okay? So anyway, I have not personally in my studio seen children victimized, but over the years I have seen it happen, and I heard of this happening, which involves someone that is in my little sphere of the world. So hey guys, it can happen anywhere. I would just say, please, you know, don't treat your dance studio like it's a nanny, okay? I would always keep close tabs on your children. I would definitely, honestly, never have them travel alone with the pro. I would not have that pro drive them to and from lessons. You know, just proceed with caution like you would in any other area of your kids' lives. Okay, guys, even if this helps just one person out there, I definitely, you know, felt ethically compelled to share that story with you. So hope that was interesting, maybe help someone. Please feel free to forward this video if you have friends with kids that, you know, do take ballroom dance lessons with adult teachers. And I definitely do encourage children to take ballroom dance. It is very safe the vast majority of the time, and it's a really fun, joyful experience. Gives them confidence, give them discipline. It does have all sorts of positives. So anyway, hope I didn't scare you too badly and you found that to be helpful, and I will see you tomorrow to answer your question of what on earth should I eat right before competitions. So thanks for joining me today, guys. Bye.